tight ship.
It's not hard to get detention here. Nobody's come through here without having detention.
Life at St. Pat's wasn't easy. The school was strict. The competition on the court was fierce.
We look for kids that, one, have tremendous work ethic. We might practice 7, 8, 9 times a week instead of 5 times a week.
Well, Coach Boyle, he's another intense guy, too. Another great basketball mind. He might have been my best X and O coach up to date.
I gotta stay here.
So intense.
Very intense.
Reed's on the line, Gene.
There was days I had to try to, calm him down a little bit.
Coach Boyle was so intense that he tripped over a bleacher and actually fell in practice.
All these golf bumps in his floor is because of his shoes.
I was just a player. Like, I was just average. Practice is probably what got me as good as I got that year.
Life was about to take a welcome turn for Al. The New Jersey Roadrunners American Athletic Union, or AAU, a program for gifted athletes, came to recruit at his school.
He wanted to attract 2 of his teammates, and Al kept tagging along. Al was the can we bring Al guy.
Sandy Pione, coach of the Roadrunners, AAU, brought him down to the gym. He's like, I got a big man for you. And I'm like, oh, this kid right here is supposed to help us?
I've had over 30 NBA players come through my program. I like to work with all kinds of players and all kinds of kids, whether they're really talented or not, but I guess I have a passion for kids that have an opportunity to be great.
They gave me the opportunity to work on my game. They were always there picking me up.
And his lack of fundamentals was actually an asset because he didn't have a lot of bad habits. A lot of players, when they dribble, look down, they don't see the court. So we didn't have to teach him, keep your head up, and that he just was dribbling for the first time.
My high school coach, Kevin Boyle, my AAU coach, Sandy Pione, and then the assistant coach, Jay Siriak. Those 3 were the ones that continued to push me.
He would go down in the basement and be bouncing the ball at night in the dark.
To enable him to start being comfortable away from the basket.
And you always knew when he lost the ball, because he'd be banging into stuff.
He'd be just down there dribbling the ball.
It'd be late night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know he got school the next day. But he'd be down there in the basement just working on his game.
Little by little, you see strides, strides, strides.
Al's work ethic was noticed by everyone around him.
Because of the fact that he was one of those individuals that you could teach almost anything, and he'll catch it like that.
Because he's like a sponge.
A sponge, so to say, a consumer. His work ethic and his willing to get better, and his desire, it topped everything.
His passion for basketball was it was crazy.
Al, was trouble making layups as a 10th grader, but he would focus on what I say and he would absorb what I had to say. That would separate him from most kids.
And you've seen him grow from moments. He was a kid who really learned from his mistakes.
Al worked hard on his game, but his love of basketball didn't solely define him.
This first picture is when I was kind of scoping him out. I was a cheerleader, and that was one of the ways that I got to spend extra time with him. We both won prom king and queen. When he came to pick me up in the limo, he had forgotten my corsage.
Gotta go back home first.
Oh, gosh. Just his general personality. He was very likable. Every friend that he made, he kept.
He's very outgoing, very funny.
One of the only kids I ever knew in high school didn't curse.
He always took the honor classes. Al was a good boy for the most part.
We kind of joined the choir to get out of class, and it looked good for the basketball players, but Al, he really thought he could sing.
No, he can't hold a note, not at all. He's terrible.
The coaches watched as Al's talents soared from mediocre to magnificent.
Al Harrington did a lot of things that the normal person per se would not do as far as becoming a better basketball player.
You can see he's an athlete. And then the talent started showing up. So now, all of a sudden, he's really on the radar.
As a senior, he just dominated high school basketball.
They say I went away for the summer, and I ate something, and I came back, and I was just like a totally different player.
Al's AAU coach, Sandy Pione, approached him and asked about his goals.
And Al had said, I want to be the #1 high school basketball player in the country.
From that point on, I put on my hard hat, packed my lunch, and, the rest is history.
He was going to the Nike camp his junior year. We had worked with him for the last 2 years. And I said, if you get in the top 3 kids, then we'll change our routine, and I'll push you to try to be an NBA player.
I went there, and to me, I pretty much dominated it.
and he did get in the top 3.
Sandy's comment to Al is that Larry Bird shot 1,000 shots a day when he was in high school and college.
I always say repetition is the key.
And Sandy's exact words, and I can still hear it, and you ain't Larry Bird.
We're gonna shoot 2,000 shots a day. We're gonna double that.
During that whole time, I was working. You know, everybody else out playing in tournaments and all that. I'm in the gym every day working.
I've watched Al over the years, and this kid's on the right track.
Fundamentals, ball handling, all that type of stuff. So it was a work in progress.
Al was about basketball all day, every day.
He's a guy that just would not accept failure.
He really worked on his game. You know what I mean? I remember he used to like, you know, Sue, come on, let's go work out or something like that. He's like, man, nah, I'm all right, you know.
This is something that I said to maybe only me and maybe to my homeboy Jay. I was just like, that if I end up being #1 player in the class, I'm gonna go pro.
If I had a nickel for every time, he would always say, I'm doing this to increase my chances. I'm doing this to increase my chances.
And next thing you know, his name just started to soar all through New Jersey.
He got so good, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's my brother. He out there balling.
He went from approximately number 100 in the sophomore class to #1 as a senior in like 2 years.
His name was ringing bells.
And he dunked, and the whole gym would just go crazy.
Nice little strip, a little jab.
Al Harrington's high school basketball career reached its height at New Jersey's All-State Championship.
This was their year to shine.
The energy in the gym was unbelievable.
He just had a monster game.
I know Al had close to 30 points and couldn't be stopped.
He was knocking down the shots. He was rebounding, playing defense.
He was off the chain.
Not only did they win it, but they won it very, very convincingly.
I saw all these cameras run up on Al.
And he was the MVP. He deserved it because, I mean, he played his behind off.
It was just a great feeling.
All of a sudden the word just starts coming up that there's 1 or 2 or 3 really unusual high school players.
Everybody started to talk about, hey, could Al Harrington go to the pros? And that was the talk. And it was all of a sudden.
Next up, facing Mom.
Oh man, I was sweating bullets.
And making a difficult decision.
Al was about to shed some tears.